It's that time again where we bring you the Talk with Tariro. Hello and welcome. Today on the program, we do know when we were growing up, and I think it still happens now, where people often say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And most of us, we used to say, when I grow up, I want to be an air hostess. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse. And today I have an age mate of mine, slightly younger than me. And she went into a different profession. And we are witnessing that in this day and age. She went into a unique profession, something that you would not think it pays. So really would want to profile Liana Chipo, and hopefully we can inspire young people to say it's not always these set professions that one gets into. And we're hoping that Leah's story will inspire you to think not outside the box, but to think without a box. Leah, welcome to the Talk with Tariro.
Thank you, Tari.
Yes, so we would want to find out who is Liana Chipo. Diana Nombon's Leah.
Leah is a young girl,
Yes, man.
born in the 70s.
Yes.
I'm a mother of 3, an entrepreneur, a photographer, a wedding planner, and a very hardworking girl. That sort of sums up Leah. I come from a family of 4 children. I'm the eldest girl. I've got 1 brother left and 2 other sisters. Yeah, but
So we want to know in the 70s, what did Leah grow up liking? How was your life like? Tunakubva kwekutanga cheko cheko.
I was born in Highfields. My mother was a very young mom, and I was raised by my mom and my gran.
Yeah.
As a young girl, I never ever dreamt I'd be a photographer. My dream was I'd be a secretary, a PA.
You know
And
exactly.
that's what I knew, shorthand, typing, filing.
Ah,
So I went to Mbizi Primary School in grade 1
yes.
in Highfields. From there, Belvedere Primary School, Eastridge Primary School. Eventually for high school, I went to Roosevelt Girls High. And it was a good ride. I should say I am who I am because of Roosevelt. In that day and age,
Yes.
and you know, but
Maskana maskete people.
we were groomed well. And I must say my feistiness comes from there.
Wow.
And I'm pleased with my parents for that choice, and I'm happy to be where I am. But after school, I then went to Ilsa College and did a receptionist course.
Ay, kaka. Not photography.
Not even photography. Eventually went into secretarial at Spaces College, did the full secretarial. And I worked for law firms to start big ones and small ones. And then eventually later on in life, my mother moved to the UK.
Yeah.
As she was in the UK, I started traveling to and from the UK. So as I was traveling, I was selling clothes, selling this, selling that, and working, still going to work, taking leave, going to buy stuff, come back and sell. And then I saw concepts on photography whilst I was in the UK.
Okay.
I went to a wedding and they were doing instant photos at an event, and the pictures were being produced instantly. And I thought, oh, this is nowhere near Africa. I've never seen this. And I decided, okay, I think I should try. But I didn't know what a camera is. I didn't know what a printer was. I was just very brave. I spoke to a friend of mine, a guy friend of mine in the UK. And he said, as long as you can see the vision, I'm sure you can. Then he enrolled me in a little course at Bedfordshire College,
Ku England.
England. And then I did a short course in photography, and the rest is history.
What?
Yeah, so
Okay.
from a secretary to a photographer.
So after attending that course in England, what then happened? Your first camera?
My first camera.
We want, because looking at Leah now, when we talk of timeless photos.
I then investigated on where to get my first camera, and I bought it in the UK. It was a very small camera, a D50.
Yeah.
And an instant printer. It's a mini lab, they call it, and a small laptop. And then I came back home. My initial job that I did first was at a specific university in the country.
How did you market yourself
To get there.
Yeah, for you to be able
I was brave
because I'm just imagining seeing this girl brought in a camera, brought in
printer.
a printer and whatever laptop. Now she is in country, breaking into that.
That, yeah.
Yeah. How, when you arrived in Zim, what did you do first?
First of all, I met a friend of mine who was at Solusi University. And he said to me, there's a graduation at Solusi. So let's go and start with Solusi. And I said, how are we just going to arrive at Solusi and say we're going to take pictures? And then he says, no, let's go, because I'm a student there and I'll find my ways. We went there, we set up, we did the whole show, and you know what? The product sold like hotcakes. The amount of media that I had brought from, media is the paper.
Okay.
That I had brought from the UK.
For printing.
For printing. Was actually all sold out on that day. And it was such a good product that the students loved it. And it led from one customer to the next, one customer to the next. So the minute that I started that, I then started attending, what do you call them? Showcasing at universities, going to see the vice chancellors and showing them my product, showing them I can do this, I can do that. And in no time, it was university after university after university, and the name just grew. It grew like a big balloon, a very big one. And it was birthday parties now, weddings, and I just got so busy. I started on my own with one guy, but now I actually employ several people.
Yeah, indeed, you employ several people. There is no graduation that happens in Zim at the moment, and Leah is missing. She spoke of how she just broke the barrier, went in at a varsity, at a tertiary institution, and that's how she started. You know, not putting limitations, not allowing limitations. We will continue hearing from Leah after this short break. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion where we are profiling Liana Chipo. We are hearing her exciting journey of venturing into photography, which in early days, it was really male dominated, but she ventured into it. Leah, what I want to hear from you is the guts of just going at a university, there is graduation, and you go there, set up, and it happened. You know, oftentimes we set limitations on ourselves as individuals. In terms of you just taking the bull by the horns, we want young people to be inspired by your story. How important is that?
It is important to sort of, muscle up and not fear. I started looking at things like buying the paper every day, checking where there's a big event, conferences, and have the guts to say, okay, this is the number of the organizer. Let me call. Do they have a photographer? If they have their own specific photographer who's doing the coverage, that's fine. Can I just come in and sell my instant photos and things like that? So whether they had their personal person that they were using, I'd still set up my little corner and do my instant photos and give people their lovely memories to take home. So you'll find that it turned out to be such a good product because for corporate, let's say, they're having a conference, I can then give them a very beautiful A4 portrait for each delegate to take home. That's how I started. Okay. And there are many big conferences that are being done in the Vic Falls. And I would even, say I can bus my way through to Vic Falls. You don't have to pay my accommodation or whatever. I find a little cheap place to stay. I go in, I make my money, I come back. And by word of mouth, without even much advertising, people began to tell each other that, there's a girl called Leah and she can do this, she can do that. For birthday parties, for family events, for weddings. Because at a wedding, you find that people have come from far and wide and you're all at one place at the same time.
Yes.
But you don't have the time to go to a specific studio to have family portraits.
Yes.
So I would then do the family portraits on location anywhere and give them their soft copies and their hard prints.
Yeah.
So I would say to anyone who's trying, knock on those doors, make those phone calls. Don't be afraid. If you're turned away today, someone else will turn you in. So, go out for it.
How have you dealt with rejection in this particular field? We know it's quite competitive.
It is.
And with some institutions like you spoke about, they already had their photographers. So sometimes you knock on a door and it's not opened. How did you deal with that for you to be where you are now?
Initially, it was very hard to deal with rejection. You hurt. Psychologically, it tells you, what you're doing is wrong. You're going to fail. But I also have a very supportive system. My family, my mom, you go back and they encourage you, don't stop, keep trying. And at the end of the day, you've got to keep encouraging yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not every day that you lose. So the one that you win gives you the power to keep trying again. I must say that I've been blessed that whoever I come across sort of has a liking towards me. And I'm not sure why, and I don't know how I present myself, but all my clients have found that even if they go away, they still come back. And with photography, it is very important in the sense that you're preserving a memory for an event that has gone far behind, right? So you've done your deco, you've done, you've set up, people have come. At the end of the day, what remains is the photography. So it is a very important thing. And before I started this, this whole project, people never took it seriously. But now you find that even for annual reports, for board meetings, for schools, I've done the whole lot. I've done schools, I've done board meetings, so you're preserving a memory for people. So it is always important to do the right thing. I've had clients that have gone and said, oh, you're too expensive. I've engaged someone who's charging me X amount.
Yes.
You're charging this amount. So you know what? I'm not going to engage you. I say it's okay. It's rejection. It's fine. I don't cry. I let them go. But, a few weeks later, they'll come back. Oh, that person messed up my event. I don't even have images to put wherever. Leah, let's negotiate and whatever. So I've really tried to deliver a good product on time and at ease.
And in terms of those negotiations that you just mentioned, we often hear people saying, don't lower your brand. Stick to your guns when it comes to your pricing strategy, when it comes to your offerings that you offer. How have you managed to maintain that in this industry?
It's been very difficult, but I have stood my ground to say this is who I am and this is my price. And I'm not saying take it or leave it, but I don't really then lower myself too much because I've got to maintain the business. I've got cameras to replace. I've got equipment. I've got stuff to pay. I've got many overheads. So I'm not going to do business for nothing, but business enough to make me survive and remain afloat.
And with your kind of business, Leah, it's something that you can actually run even from home. And with a lot of people, that's what they do. But for you, you decided to actually set up shop. You've got a fully operational studio. You've got employees. I know you are tax compliant. You really are fully set up. Why did you feel that it's important that you actually set it up as a fully fledged business?
That, I must say, I learned along the way that without compliance, you can't do much. As much as I was attending all the conferences for doctors, for lawyers, for financial people, for whatever, I was listening to the things that these people were discussing. And initially, I'm that type of person who would say, oh, I owe Tariro $10. I'll pay her later because when I have the money, I'll pay. But I learned along the lines that if you're in business, do what is right. integrity is number one.
Yeah.
When you owe someone, pay up and remain with what is your profit. So my debtors, I pay, and I expect to receive mine from my debtors. My salaries, I will do, and it all then falls into place when you are compliant. I've learned that from the highest. And as much as I was taking their pictures and, preserving their memories, I was also learning a lot. Because I've been in the presence of many high officers and I've learned from that.
And you continue learning from that. We'll continue with Leah after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Our discussion with Leah continues. So Leah, along the way, what have been the challenges that you have faced and how did you overcome them?
As a lady, people look down upon you.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, what can this woman do? What can she achieve? But the more I get contact with my clients and deliveries done and all of that, they gain confidence in me. But it's been a challenge being female in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
For things like graduations, you find there's many photographers, media people there, and mainly it's just men.
Yeah.
And you're the rose amongst the thorns. And they're looking down on you to say, what can she achieve and all of that. But I must say that I have proved it that a girl child can do.
Yes.
And she can break the barrier as long as she's strong and she knows the vision of what she wants, she can.
Yeah. And you then ventured into other businesses, which are complementary to your initial business.
Yeah.
Share with us what inspired you to go into weddings, wedding planning, wedding hosting, when you started with photography.
The inspiration came from attending other events at other locations.
Yeah.
And you'd see mistakes that other locations were making. So I then had a property that I had already bought that I felt I could turn into an events place.
Yeah.
Initially, it was very hard, the gardening and all of that. But with perseverance and pushing, it has come to fruition. I've got my own events place now. Yeah. So I do corporate events, weddings, and all that. But the inspiration did come from just seeing other people that had their own conferencing places. And I thought, why not? And what I believe now is as long as you see the vision in your head and you believe that God can help you, He can. And here I am today. I also do my own weddings at my own place, conferences and all.
And then do the photography
there as well. And catering as well.
Wow.
And I've partnered with a few people that also have a PA system and cakes and all that. So we've created a package that is reasonably priced to cater for the people that would say, I'd like to wed at a specific venue, but I can't afford it. But if they come to me, it's reasonably priced, but more or less the same as what would be delivered at a big and place.
What I'm seeing from you is this eye for identifying opportunities once you are in business, where you are saying, I go into this, you would have gone to take your photos, but you are seeing that no, there is a gap here. How important is that as an entrepreneur?
It is very important because you're solving problems for people. I used to do events, like I said, at other venues, and you find the caterer is late, the DJ is late, the cake person is not delivered on time. So the minute that I set up my own space, I decided to work with people and create something that is uniform in the sense that I've built a kitchen. So the food is not going to come from anywhere else. The kitchen is there. I've employed my staff who are consistent, who come every weekend. So it's not like we're going to serve different food today that is not so good as it was last week. So there's consistency. And you'll find that the business will grow because you're getting good reviews all the time and you're serving something that is what you see on Facebook about me is what you will see when you come to the events place.
Yes.
Yes.
And for any young person who is actually watching you and is saying, I'm actually inspired, I might actually consider photography. What message would you give them?
I would say, as long as it's seeded in your heart and you feel you can, go and learn.
Yeah.
Go and learn. Do a course in photography. Find a mentor to assist you. And yes, you will. As long as you think it and you work hard for it, God will give it to you.
And with a lot of people, it's more of, does this pay? Really, yes, Leah is everywhere. Can I survive on photography? Does it really pay, Leah? Does photography pay?
I got those questions when I started.
You
People
know?
were saying to me, you want to be a photographer? Let a photographer. Are you sure? Is that what you want to do? But yes, it does pay.
Yeah.
It pays the bills. I have 3 children. They've gone to school. And I pay salaries. It does pay. As long as you come up with a package that is good enough, people will buy it from you.
You've now become an award-winning businesswoman. I think for successive years, you're being recognized for your excellence in terms of your delivery, in terms of how you are overall running your business. What makes you stand out? What makes you tick as Leah?
I must say, sometimes I ask myself what they see in me, but I guess it's being efficient. Delivery of service is key, and good, personal skills, people skills. Just learning to be a good person. Integrity is key, and I think those qualities, I have them. So delivery. Because you'll find some photographers will say, you've done a whole conference and the hard drive has crashed. They have nothing to deliver.
Yeah.
And, it's all gone.
Yeah.
They don't make an effort to give client what they did. But I remember there's a time when I lost the whole wedding.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Experience.
Everything crashed. And I was on holiday. My boys then called and said, we don't have Ningi's wedding. It's gone. We can't, the hard drive is not opening. Holiday stopped, flew to Joburg. We found a recovery company, recovered their wedding, and only told them that I had lost your things after I had recovered. But with some other service providers, they'll just say, the hard drive crashed. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You've got to set yourself apart from the rest.
Others.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's your message to other young people, young ladies who are watching you and might be facing challenges in whatever profession that they are actually focusing on or they want to venture into?
I say from wherever you are, improve yourself, learn things, go to school, do stuff that make you better tomorrow, and find something, a niche of something that you want to do and start it. The point is to start from somewhere and the rest will follow.
Indeed, the point is to start from somewhere. You need to start. If you don't start it, there's no way you know whether you face challenges, you will succeed. It's important to start. And like what Leah said, the rest will follow. Until next week, it's goodbye from all of us here on The Talk with Tariro.